So good morning everyone. So this is another video to end the week because today is Friday. So we won't end the week, but for trading we end the week today. Then we continue next week. But I'll be dropping pre-market analysis in the week. During the weekend. So today's this video is about pre-market analysis on NZDCAD. We start with NZDCAD. So the first pair on my list is NZDCAD. And if you look at complete structure of NZDCAD is in a downtrend. NZDCAD is in a downtrend. Why is it in a downtrend? The market price is forming a series of higher highs. Price is forming a series of higher highs, higher lows, higher low, higher high, higher low, equal high, higher low, higher high, equal low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher low. Then went for higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and another equal low. So maybe the higher high, maybe it might end here and drop for another higher low, but we don't know yet. So let's go through the lower time frames and find out if price will drop from here or will continue pushing up. So on NZDUSD, we find out that the structure is bearish. We are in a bearish structure. So in a bearish market, we look for sells. In a bearish market, we look for sells. So let's go. So NZDCAD on the monthly time frame, this is my monthly supply zone and my monthly demand zone. My monthly supply, my monthly demand. Monthly supply, monthly demand. I'm not gonna mark all these zones because I'm not gonna use them. So there's no need for me marking them. I only mark zones that I'll make use of, so my chart won't be too messy. I only mark zones that I make use of, so my chart won't be too messy. So yeah, this is my monthly supply and monthly demand. So let's go to the weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, NZDCAD, after touching the weekly resistance or the weekly supply, it started dropping. After touching the weekly supply, it started dropping. So we have 14 hours, 46 minutes for this candle to close. If it closes and it closes like this, like a significant pin bar, price would definitely drop all the way to the monthly. So for now, if you think you want to be safe, I just say don't enter NZDCAD trade today, but you wait Monday, which will be next week. You wait next week and you pick an entry on this particular pair, which is NZDCAD. So you wait for this week's candle to close, forming a pin bar. Then you pick your entry next week. Does that make sense? Yeah, it does. So let's go to the daily. Since you have only seen the weekly resistance, you only saw one zone currently. So let's go to the daily. So yeah, here on the daily time frame, you could see price previously went to tap into this resistance zone. Then after tapping into the resistance, a massive drop. We actually did analysis on this pair some while ago, I think 3 days, or yeah, we did it this week. I did it this week, but when price tapped into the zone, it didn't really give me the candle confirmation I needed, so I couldn't take the trade. That's why I'm analyzing it again for us to pick a new entry in case you missed it or you couldn't get the entry you wanted. So if if you want to check that video out, just go to my channel, my page, then you scroll through the videos, you see it in one of my many videos which I've dropped on my YouTube channel or my TikTok account. So when anywhere you go, you find it there, whether TikTok or YouTube, you definitely find it there. So yeah, okay. So this is NZDCAD, and yesterday's candle closed massively. Yesterday's candle closed a very strong bearish. So we might be seeing more sells if today's candle also closes bearish. By today's candle, that it doesn't matter how it closes, just that it shouldn't close above the resistance. So if you want to be safe, you are not a risk trader, you want to be a safe trader, then you wait for this week's candle to close, then you pick your entry next week. You wait for this week's candle to close, then you pick your entry next week. Okay, yeah. So this is the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, I'll just mark out this zone, then I'll mark my daily support over here. So here's my daily support zone and my daily resistance. So let's go to the 4-hour. So on the 4-hour is where I'll pick my entry. On the 4-hour is where I'll pick my entry. So here I could see price drop, price broke out of this zone. Let me use this. After price broke out of the zone, it came to react to this zone. So I'm seeing a very nice break and a retest with a candle confirmation. So I expect price to drop from here. I'm seeing a bearish engulfing at the monthly, at the 4-hour resistance. So I'm seeing a bearish engulfing. So what I'm going to do is, on NZDCAD right now, I'm going to pick my entry. I'm going to pick my entry over here on NZDCAD, and I'll target the monthly zone. I'll target the monthly zone. My stop loss, I'll put it here, 45 pips. That's 1:4. It's not a bad trade. It's a very nice trade. 1:4 is very nice. So yeah, this is our setup on NZDCAD. Our setup on NZDCAD. This is my setup on NZDCAD. My setup on NZDCAD. So if this week's candle closes nicely for us, then next week we are going to see massive drop on this pair. We are going to see massive drop on this pair. So yeah, this is my first trade. So let's move on to the second setup, which will be NZDUSD. Oh, sorry, USD. Let's do NZDUSD first. Okay, so let's start from the month. Let's do the top-down analysis, which we must always do. It's always recommended that you do a top-down analysis anytime you want to pick it. You want to enter a trade. So on the monthly time frame, I have my monthly supply zone right here, and my monthly demand zone right here. Have my monthly supply, my monthly demand right here. My monthly supply, my monthly demand right here. So on the monthly time frame, I have my monthly supply and my monthly demand. So let's go to the weekly time frame. Yeah. So on the weekly time frame, I have my weekly supply zone here and another supply also here. This kind of a breakout zone and I supply zone. So you could see the same the same structure we were seeing on NZDCAD is what you are also seeing on NZDUSD. The same structure we saw on NZDCAD is what you are seeing on NZDUSD. So yeah, so on the NZDUSD price has tapped it up after it broke structure. It has currently tapped into the resistance and with much rejection. So I expect to see something like this breaking the zone, then it continues to drop. Then we can probably see a pullback and then continue, and it continues like that. So if this week's candle, which closes in about 14 hours 30 minutes, also closes like this or a pin bar, then NZDUSD starting next week it will drop massively. It will drop massively. So let's go to the lower time frames and try and pick an entry. So like I said on NZDCAD, if you want to trade safe, just wait for this week's candle to close. Then you pick an entry next week. You wait for this week's candle to close. Then you pick an entry next week. Okay, because today is Friday. The market doesn't do much on Fridays. So you wait for this week's candle to close, then you pick an entry on Friday. Okay, so let's go to the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, you could see after price tap into the resistance, then this after price taps into the resistance, then this massive drop which happened yesterday. So today too, we are expecting more drops on NZDUSD. So let's see if it will drop more or it will continue next week. The price drop more or it will continue next week. Let's find out. So on NZDUSD on the daily time frame, I have my daily demand over here, and that's the only zone I can actually identify. So on NZDUSD, I have my daily demand here. So let's go to the 4-hour and pick our entry. So on the 4-hour time frame, you see a nice break and retest happening right here. Nice break and retest happening right here. So with this, I'm going to pick my entry on NZDUSD from here. Then I'll target the monthly low or the monthly zone. Then I'll drop my stop loss to about 45 pips. Yeah, my stop loss here. And my take profit. So that's 1:3.7 hour. And that's a very nice trade. So if you are able to catch this trade, you are good to go. If you don't, you can still pick an entry on Monday, which is next week. You can still pick an entry on Monday, which is next week. So yeah, this is my second setup for the week to end the week. Then go again tomorrow next week. So this NZDUSD. So let's go on to the last pair for the day. So the last pair on my list is AUDUSD. AUDUSD. And if you notice, NZDUSD and AUDUSD are also giving us the same structure according to the monthly time frame. They are both giving us the same structure, and NZDUSD and NZDCAD are also given the same structure. So that means NZDUSD, NZDCAD, and AUDUSD all give the same structure. Does that make sense? NZDUSD and NZDCAD, AUDUSD all are given the same structure. Okay, so let's see. So on NZDUSD, on AUDUSD, I have my monthly demand here and my monthly supply about here. I have my monthly demand here and my monthly supply here. My monthly demand here and my monthly supply here. I have my monthly demand here and my monthly supply here. I have my monthly demand and my monthly supply. So on the monthly time frame, we are still in a downtrend. On AUDUSD, we are still in a downtrend. So in a downtrend, you are only looking for selling opportunities. So let's go to the weekly time frame and see what price is doing. So on the weekly time frame, have our weekly supply zone here and our weekly supply zone also here. Weekly supply zone here and our weekly supply zone also here. So on the weekly time frame, you see price is actually dropping to the downside after after the breakout. It went for a retest, dropped a little, went for an equal high, then you see a drop all the way to the bottom. So we are seeing a double top formation. So you should be expecting massive drop all the way to the bottom. So let's go to the daily time frame and see what you can get over there. So on the daily time frame, price has been dropping for a while. After tapping into the equal high or the double top, price started dropping massively. So the daily time frame, I can see a daily demand here and another demand zone also here. A demand zone here, another demand zone here. So let's see. Price is dropping, so let's go to the 4-hour and look for an entry on. Okay, we look for an entry on AUDUSD. So since price is already dropping, we are also seeing an evening star formation here. An evening star formation also here. So what I'm going to do is I'll enter my trade from here. My stop loss will be just about here, 30 pips. Okay, let's make it 10. Okay. So my stop loss will be there, and I'll be targeting the monthly low, which will be 1:5 RR, not bad though. So yeah, this is also how I'll take my trade on NZDUSD. Sorry, AUDUSD. So we've done NZDUSD, NZDCAD, and AUDUSD. So you can either pick your entry now or you wait and pick your entry later. You can either pick your entry now or you wait and pick your entry next week. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also share to your family and friends. And yeah, so that'll be all for now. And